Travis Kelce screams with joy as Taylor Swift's dad finally agrees to their wedding. It was a crisp December evening in Nashville, and the Swift family estate was buzzing with holiday cheer. Taylor Swift had invited her family and closest friends to a cozy gathering to celebrate her father, Scott Swift's birthday. Unbeknownst to everyone, Travis Kelce had a secret plan tucked away in his pocket, an engagement ring, and tonight was the night he intended to ask Scott for his blessing. For months, Travis had been wooing not just Taylor but her entire family. Andrea Swift adored him, and Austin Swift had already joked about being the best man. But Scott, protective of his superstar daughter, was a harder nut to crack. His concerns weren't about Travis's fame or fortune, after all, Taylor had enough of both, but about whether the NFL star truly understood the whirlwind that came with being a part of the Swift legacy. Travis wasn't deterred. "I'll win him over," he had told Taylor one night as they lounged on her couch. She believed him, but even she didn't know what he had planned. As the evening unfolded, Travis bided his time, helping Scott set up games of darts and chatting with him about football and family values. The two seemed to hit it off, but when Travis excused himself to grab something from the car, the real drama began. He returned with a small wooden box, its contents hidden, and asked Scott if they could step into the study for a private chat. Taylor noticed the two slip away, her heart pounding. In the study, Travis took a deep breath. "Mr. Swift, I love your daughter more than anything in the world. She's my best friend, my inspiration, and the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I'd like your blessing to marry her." Scott raised an eyebrow, leaning back in his leather armchair. "You're asking for a lot, Travis. Marriage isn't just about love, it's about understanding the life you're signing up for." "Taylor's world is different." "I know," Travis said earnestly. "Her world is big, loud, and full of people who will always have opinions about us. But I don't just want to be in her world, I want to protect it. And I promise you, I will always put Taylor first." Scott studied him for a moment, then leaned forward with a grin. "You've got guts, Kelce. I respect that. You've got my blessing." Before Scott could even finish his sentence, Travis leapt from his chair, letting out a loud, unfiltered scream of pure joy. The sound echoed through the house, startling everyone at the party. "Yes, thank you, Mr. Swift," he shouted, running out of the study and into the living room. Taylor, confused and slightly embarrassed, met him halfway. "What's going on?" Travis dropped to one knee in front of everyone, pulling the ring from his pocket. "Taylor Allison Swift, will you make me the happiest man alive and marry me?" The room erupted in cheers as Taylor's hands flew to her mouth in shock. Tears streamed down her face as she nodded. "Yes, yes, a million times yes." Scott and Andrea shared a proud smile as their daughter embraced her fiancé, the room buzzing with love and celebration. That night, the Swift-Kelce union became not just a fairy tale, but a reality, one filled with music, touchdowns, and a happily ever after. Title: Travis Kelce screams W joy as Taylor Swift's dad finally agrees to their wedding. It was a crisp autumn afternoon in Kansas City, the stadium lights shimmering against the fading sunset. Travis Kelce, dressed in his casual gear, walked into his house with a grin that could rival the brightest star. He had just received the phone call of a lifetime, a call from none other than Taylor Swift's father, Scott Swift. Taylor and Travis had been inseparable for months now, their relationship blossoming into something deep and meaningful. But there was one thing standing between them and forever: Scott's blessing. As a protective father, Scott had always been cautious about who Taylor got involved with, especially someone in the public eye. But after numerous heartfelt conversations, countless late-night texts, and even a surprise dinner at Taylor's Nashville home, Scott had finally relented. "Travis, I've been watching you closely," Scott said during their latest chat. "And I have to admit, I'm impressed. You love my daughter, and you treat her with the respect she deserves. I couldn't ask for more." That was all it took. The moment the call ended, Travis threw his phone in the air and screamed, his voice echoing off the walls of his living room. "W," he yelled, laughing in disbelief. "W, W, W." He ran outside, his excitement fueling him like never before. The wind blew through his hair as he sprinted around the yard, the neighbors probably wondering if they just witnessed the happiest man alive. In the middle of his impromptu victory lap, he stopped, clutching his heart, as he remembered the next big step: proposing. He couldn't wait to tell Taylor, to share the news that they were one step closer to their happily ever after. Meanwhile, across the country, Taylor was in her New York apartment, humming softly as she scrolled through her phone. She hadn't heard from Travis in a while, and a message from him pinged in just as she was finishing up her latest songwriting session. Her heart skipped a beat as she read his enthusiastic words, "I just got the best news ever." She quickly dialed his number, practically jumping out of her seat as the phone rang. The moment he answered, she could hear the joy in his voice. "You're never going to believe this, Tay," Travis exclaimed. "Your dad, he gave us his blessing. He said yes, we're good to go." Taylor's eyes widened, and a smile spread across her face. "Wait, what? You're serious?" Travis laughed, his voice brimming with excitement. "I swear, I've never been this happy in my life. I've been screaming like a maniac all over the place. Tay, W. Taylor couldn't contain her own laughter, her heart swelling with emotion. "I knew you could do it, Trav. This is a huge moment for us." He paused, his voice suddenly softening with affection. "And now, I can't wait to make you my forever. I'm ready for that next step." The moment felt surreal, as if everything had fallen into place perfectly. They were no longer just a headline or a tabloid story. This was their love, their journey, and it was real. As the sun set over Kansas City, Travis Kelce finally stopped his victorious shouting and pulled out a small box from his jacket pocket. Inside, it held the perfect ring, a symbol of his commitment, his love, and his excitement for the future. In New York, Taylor wiped away a tear as she looked out over the city skyline, imagining the life they would build together. The whirlwind romance, the challenges, the public attention, it had all led to this moment. And now, they were ready to take the biggest step of all. "Travis," she said softly, "you're going to make the most incredible husband." And just like that, the fairy tale was about to get even more magical. Title: Travis Kelce screams W joy as Taylor Swift's dad finally agrees to their wedding. It was a crisp autumn evening in Nashville, and the air hummed with the excitement of Taylor Swift's upcoming concert. The city was alive with fans and paparazzi, but amidst all the buzz, there was one particular man who had a lot on his mind: Travis Kelce. As Taylor Swift's boyfriend, he had already won the hearts of millions, but there was one important person whose approval he desperately sought: Taylor's dad, Scott Swift. Their relationship had been smooth, filled with love, laughter, and touchdown celebrations, but one hurdle still loomed: the wedding proposal. Travis had been planning the proposal for months, but there was just one thing standing in his way. Taylor's father had made it clear he was protective of his daughter, and the idea of letting someone into her life forever was no small decision. He'd been cautious about giving his blessing, even though he could see how happy Taylor was with Travis. That night, Travis had arranged a special dinner at a quiet restaurant near Taylor's family home. With a little help from Taylor's mom, Andrea, who'd been supportive of their relationship from the start, Travis finally got the invitation he had been waiting for. Dinner was set, the moment of truth had arrived. Travis had never been nervous before a game, but now, standing in front of Scott Swift, his palms were sweaty, and his heart raced. The dinner table was dimly lit by candles, and soft jazz music played in the background, but all Travis could focus on was the man sitting across from him. Scott, ever the composed figure, didn't give much away. "Travis," Scott said with a serious tone, "I've watched how you treat Taylor. I know you love her, and she loves you. But, marriage? That's not something I take lightly." Travis swallowed hard, but he kept his cool. "Sir, I know this isn't just about me and Taylor. It's about a lifelong commitment. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I promise you, I'll always have her back, through the highs and the lows." Scott didn't respond right away, and for a moment, the silence was deafening. Travis's mind raced. He had put everything on the line for this moment. And then, Scott leaned back in his chair, a smile creeping onto his face. "I've seen the way she talks about you. You make her so happy. You make her laugh, you challenge her, and you respect her. I can see it. I think it's time for me to say yes." Travis's eyes widened. He was in disbelief. "Wait, what did you just say?" "I said yes," Scott repeated, this time with a chuckle. "You have my blessing, Travis. Go ahead, marry my daughter." Travis froze for a second, the weight of the words finally sinking in. He stood up, unable to contain himself any longer. He didn't just smile. He screamed with joy a loud, victorious cheer that startled the waiters in the corner. "Yes, thank you so much," he exclaimed, practically lifting Scott out of his seat with excitement. The restaurant patrons turned to look, some even applauding the moment. Scott laughed, clearly amused by Travis's enthusiasm. "I'm glad you're happy, son. But don't get too carried away. There's still a lot of planning to do." "I don't care. I'm going to marry Taylor Swift," Travis shouted, his voice filled with pride. That night, Travis Kelce, one of the most celebrated tight ends in NFL history, had just won the biggest victory of his life. With a roar of happiness, he picked up his phone and texted Taylor immediately. "We're getting married, your dad said yes, asterisk." Within seconds, Taylor's response lit up the screen. Asterisk, "Are you serious? I'm crying, I love you, asterisk." Later that evening, as Travis celebrated with Taylor and her family, he realized something. This wasn't just about the proposal or the wedding. It was about the life he was about to build with the woman he adored. And, for the first time in his career, Travis Kelce truly felt like he had scored the ultimate touchdown, winning over the heart of the woman he loved and gaining the approval of her father, a victory he would treasure forever.